My name is Garrett Gaines, and what I have chosen to do for my marketing paper is The Road to the Belt, powered by Coca Cola, which is a partnership with the Sun Belt Conference and the basketball tournament that's being held in Pensacola, and partnering with Coca Cola. One of my main reasons for choosing Coca Cola and the Sun Belt Conference tournament to be sponsored with each other is I believe that it represents a very high potential opportunity for Coca Cola to add on for the Sun Belt and hopefully for not just the basketball tournament but future sporting events that could be used in the future. And then along with that, I think Coca Cola steps in and adds a dynamic element to both parties, which would be their brand visibility, fan engagement, and their community presence. Introducing Coca Cola into this as into another conference that they aren't necessarily sponsored with can be very beneficial for them. And basically, it's a fully integrated sponsorship campaign that connects students, alumni, local fans, and hopefully much more in the future. For my opportunity overview, the three main things I really wanted to talk about is the fact of the Sun Belt Conference growing rapidly, and this is being proven that the Sun Belt, in terms of mid major, is starting to become a powerhouse uh, compared to other conferences, and I think this is very beneficial for Coca Cola to be getting into at this time. Uh, there's a very loyal and passionate fan base across the southeast and south central U.S., which is essentially where the Sun Belt is located. You have places like Louisiana, Lafayette, Coastal Carolina, Troy, um, and basically other schools that are starting to get a lot of recognition nationally, and that only benefits Coca Cola by partnering with us. And then it's just another unique platform for Coca Cola to enhance into regional presence, being that it's just another opportunity for them to grow their brand. Coca Cola is a pretty big deal down in the South, which is kind of more of the reason why it was chosen to be what I wanted the partnership to be. And then obviously it's been known for sporting traditions, and then involved in a lot of community aspects. And then it aligns with what Coca Cola's brand is about, which is connection, refreshment, and celebration, which all derives from the Sun Belt Conference tournament for basketball and other sporting events that the Sun Belt is associated with. For the campaign vision, what I wanted to kind of make the point of is, it make Coca Cola a part of the Sun Belt basketball experience. And once you do that, this opens up more possibilities for other opportunities in the near future, whether it be on the side of Sunbelt getting Coca Cola or Coca Cola wanting to do something for the Sunbelt. I think both of them kind of elevate each other's opportunities in the sense of just creating more partnerships down the line. And then essentially, it's just designed to create lasting fan memories and emotional connections. So for the target audience, I thought it was relatively simple. It's going to consist of mostly students and student athletes, and then you have your alumni with the local community members, which is just fans that are supporting each of these schools and the Sun Belt in general. And then obviously you have your fans and loyal or families and loyal fans across the region. Um, I think it's just a very simple understanding that what audience will be targeted for this partnership and will bring benefits to both Coca Cola and Sunbelt. In terms of the activation pillars, which is essentially just what's going to get this thing started, what's going to factor into this partnership becoming a beneficial thing. for everybody is going to be the on-site experiences that you gain with this partnership, the digital fan engagement, emotional storytelling, and community presence. These are all factors that are going to benefit both parties. Some of the on site activations are going to include a Coca Cola courtside lounge, which will be for specific VIP fans that purchase tickets that allow access to this. Basically, it's just a VIP fan zone, allowing them to get kind of a special connection, have access to certain things that they wouldn't have access to. And then your branded hydration stations. Obviously, people have seen like the Coca Cola machines that when you go to, for example, certain restaurants like a Zaxby's, a Wendy's, that allow you to choose different options of the Coca Cola flavors. And then throughout the game, there's going to be the live Coke Cam fan features, which is just, it's just a regular fan cam with the Coke Cam's, kind of ring to it. And then your interactive bracket kiosk, which are, fans can go in, make their own bracket, and at the end of the tournament, you're going to have a handful of fans that get their brackets right, which will then be rewarded by, free free stuff that they can use through in the future. And so then you have your on-site activations, but then it becomes into we have a digital world, so there's going to be multiple opportunities for digital fan experience types. So one of the three things that we have talked about is online bracket challenge with Coca-Cola prizes, and essentially just like the bracket kiosk, except if you're unable to be at the event, this is a way that you can be kind of integrated into this aspect of the partnership. And then the text to win during game breaks, that's going to be, you know, similar to how schools do, the student song of the day you send in, you get to choose what song. It'll be essentially just like that. QR code based trivia and giveaways, which is self explanatory, but just another cool way to get the fans interacted within, the partnership that's at hand. One of the cooler social media strategies that will be integrated into this is going to be the belt stories powered by Coca-Cola. It's just a way to highlight players, coaches, super fans, and obviously it'll be through, kind of highlighting how certain players have gotten to where they are in their career, how coaches have handled situations throughout their career that has led them to this moment, and then how the players and coaches have impacted fans throughout the game. And obviously, this will be a cross-platform thing where we can use, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter to our advantage. So, community and campus integration is just a way of saying how we're going to involve each campus and town that this school is, every school in the Sun Belt that is going to be in the tournament, how we are promoting it. And so, one of the ways of doing it is going to be a Coca Cola Student Ambassador Program, a pregame pop ups at Sunbelt campuses, and an alumni chapter activation in local markets, which is just a great way to kind of advertise the partnership. So some of the aspects that are going to be included with, big time donors, fans that are showing uh, plenty of support that pay for, this partnership to basically happen. You're going to have VIP suites for Coca Cola executives and partners, which is going to be mostly through donors that are helping this partnership kind of exist. And then along with that, you're going to have exclusive fan experiences, which is basically just going to be a way to, tailgate, which is the tip off parties, and then the meet and greets. And that's just a good way to have the fans come together and support this. And then private viewing zones with curated Coca-Cola products is going to be like courtside tickets with special Coca-Cola products such as new flavors that they're being introduced, or just whatever they want to try in terms of Coca-Cola products. And so one of the big things that needs to be look gained from this is branding visibility. And what will happen is a dominant in arena signage and scoreboard features, which basically shows the Sunbelt and Coca-Cola logo being advertised and collaborated with, and then co-branded merchandise and giveaways, essentially kind of the same way in terms of the scoreboard features. There will be shirts, mugs, other types of wearable merchandise that you can have that will, spotlight the Sunbelt Conference as well as Coca-Cola. And then basically what we want to make an effort for is to allow Coca-Cola and the Sunbelt to be collaborated with whenever there's in-game interviews, the broadcast, and even the post-game celebrations. In terms of the campaign timeline, we're looking at the preseason to be like a brand tease and social content, which will be just basically advertisement before the tournament starts on social media, as well as like what we talked about earlier is going on to the branding visibility approach, which is just going to campuses and doing cool things with the fan bases. In terms of tournament week, there will be a full activation on site plus digital. So that'll basically all the stuff we talked about will be getting introduced. And then post tournament will be the recap video and fan appreciation campaign. In terms of what we think would be, metrics for success, this will come from, digital aspect, which will be the impressions, engagement, and then the click-throughs, basically your views on social media and how it's doing. In terms of the in-venue aspects, we'll be able to measure this based on the attendance and the participation in the contests that are being pursued. Sales, we'll go for regional sales lift, product trial success. And then sentiment, in terms of sentiment, we'll be doing, surveys at the end of it and, kind of reaching out to fans, engaging how they thought that the partnership was. In terms of our budget overview, there would need to be a really deep dive into what it is, but in terms of like scalable options, you're going to have your title, you're presenting, which is basically advertising, and your supporting tiers. And I mean, this will come from content production, on-site activation, hospitality plus staffing, and what you're going to be willing to spend on your media side of it. The potential for this partnership can potentially bring so much return on what you're gaining from this partnership. First of all, Coca-Cola becomes partnered with Sunbelt, and they both are collaborated in the future, which can only be beneficial for both parties. There's going to be a way to figure out that there are measurable returns across, awareness of this partnership, engagement with each other, and the sales that come along with it. And then you're also going to get the long-term aspect, of emerging with a college audience. Not to say that it already isn't, but now you're just introducing another conference into it, which is mutually beneficial.